I'm a roguelike card game junkie, and I cannot get enough of this genre. However, there is a lot of copy and paste games in this genre overall, and that's why I wanted to give you my list of the top 10 roguelike card games on mobile. Let's get right into it. First up, we have Void Tyrant. Now, Void Tyrant is very unique when it comes to its combat system. It mixes blackjack-like mechanics in with kind of a deck builder where you can utilize abilities and stuff on the side, but the main mechanic is that blackjack mechanic. There's so many things that you can unlock in this game, and you constantly feel like there's something new to experience, and every run feels different from the last. I really like how this game has a perfect balance of luck and strategy, and it really is a beautiful looking and sounding game. Definitely check it out. Next up, we have Slay the Spire, which is the granddaddy of all roguelike card games. This is an absolute classic, and no one should see this as a surprise that it's included on this list. There are 4 very unique and different classes to play as, and so many cards to unlock as you play through this game. There's all kinds of unique enemies and bosses and scenarios that you can encounter in this game. The replayability of this game is endless, and as far as bang for your buck goes, this is as good as it gets on mobile. This is a must-buy. Definitely check it out. Next up, we have Cards of Terra. Now, this uses a layered card mechanic similar to Solitaire in order to clear a board, and you're trying to get to the bottom layer of cards and eventually clear the entire board to complete a level. And there's different gameplay modes that play off of this concept. But the cards themselves are creatures that are different colors and different types and have different powers, so you have to move these cards around at the right times and in the right order in order to do so. It's really fun and addicting and has a unique puzzle-like element in the roguelike card game genre. Definitely check it out. Next up, we have the Meteorfall series. Now, there are 2 games in this series, and I couldn't choose between either of them, so we're lumping them together. Now, the first game is Meteorfall, and this utilizes a Tinder-like mechanic where you swipe left or right in order to make decisions during combat, as well as when deck building or with different scenarios that you encounter. And it really is a simplistic control scheme and simple to understand, but it maintains the depth of a roguelike card game. So I really enjoy this one. Now, the next game in the series is Meteorfall Crummit's Tale. Now, Crummit's Tale has more of a board game-like feel because there's multiple cards on the board at once, and you have to utilize your own series of cards in order to clear those cards that consist of enemies, or maybe it has loot or different scenarios there. So it's basically a more complex version of the first game, but it definitely has its own unique flavor, and they're definitely very different from one another. Definitely check them out. Next up, we have Dark Mist. Now, Dark Mist has a very unique health mechanic where your health is tied to how many cards you have in your deck at any given time. Now, there's columns of enemies that are dropping from the top of the screen, and you have to attack these enemies in different orders. And these enemies will be attacking you, and when they attack you, they will take cards out of your deck and steal them, so to speak, and you'll have to kill that enemy or specific enemy that stole your cards to get your cards back. So it's a very unique give and take and totally changes up your choices and your gameplay style in comparison to other roguelike card games. This one has a fantastic art style to boot. Definitely check it out. Next up, we have Solitairica, which utilizes solitaire-like mechanics during its gameplay battles. Now, this has so much DLC on offer here as well, along with a very healthy base game to boot. Now, there are so many classes that you can play as in this game, all with their own unique abilities and play styles, and the content here really feels endless. This offers a ton of bang for your buck, so if you like Solitaire, this is as good as it gets, and this is probably the closest we have to a classic roguelike card game on the App Store from the very get-go. Definitely check it out. Next, we have Tavern Rumble. Now, Tavern Rumble is a unique take on the roguelike card game formula because it mixes in tactical strategy. Battles take place on a grid, which is split up into 2 halves, which is your half and the enemy's half. And you can play cards or units wherever you want on your half of the grid in order to defend yourself as well as attack the enemy. This is a really unique take, and it really provides a unique flavor all of its own that I've never experienced anywhere else in this genre. Now, there are a wide variety of armies or classes that you can play as, and there's just endless replay value. Definitely give this one a try if you love tactical strategy games. Next up, we have Dawncaster, which may just be the best looking and sounding roguelike card game on mobile. Now, at the start of a run, you choose a class which has its own unique skill trees that you can spec out the longer you play during that run, and it gives you a unique playstyle every single time. It's really interesting, and I feel like this one is a slow burn. With the longer you play it, or the more you play it, the more it seems unique and stands out from the rest. I highly suggest you guys give this one a try. Next up, we have Card Thief. Now, Card Thief consists of a board of cards, and you play as a thief, and you have to maneuver through these cards in order to get as much loot as possible. Now, cards can consist of booby traps and guards and enemies that are trying to keep you from getting that loot, so there's a risk and reward type feature just built into this game, and it really is satisfying to make it out of a dungeon with tons of loot, and you had to really strategically think through each and every move that you made. It's really fun, so definitely check it out. Last but not least, we have Dungeon Reels. Now, Dungeon Reels utilizes slot machine mechanics during battles. So you spin your slot machine, and with the symbols that appear, you can choose to utilize those in any order in order to make defensive maneuvers, attack enemies, or activate abilities. And you have the opportunity to add new symbols onto your slot machine, which obviously changes the percent chance of certain symbols appearing, and it has that deck building feel of a roguelike card game, except you're using slot machine symbols instead of cards. So it's really unique, and I love the retro style of this game. Definitely check it out. Alright guys, those are my top 10 roguelike card games on mobile. Don't forget to leave a like, pop a sub, and comment. It really helps out small channels like mine, and I appreciate you watching to the end of the video. If you want to experience more content from me, check out any of the links in the description down below. I hope you guys are staying safe, and take it easy.